After a big win against the Maple Leafs, the Sharks are right back at it, going to Buffalo to face the Sabres. Here's what to watch for.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day, and we continue with our 10-minute YouTube exclusive previews, this time looking at the Buffalo Sabres, as both teams coming off of the second night of a back-to-back. Of course, the San Jose Sharks with the stunning comeback victory for the Toronto Maple Leafs, winning in a shootout 3-2. The Buffalo Sabres losing in overtime to the Montreal Canadiens, a game where they came back to tie things up, but eventually lost in overtime. So let's look at how these two teams match up. The San Jose Sharks now 16-37-9. The Buffalo Sabres 24-29-6. Excuse me. The Sharks goals for per game played 2.56, 29th in the NHL. Goals allowed 3.68, 32nd. The power play sits at even 19%, good for 25th in the NHL. The PK at 75.8%, 24th in the NHL. For the Sabres, their offense, 3.17 goals for per game. Defense, 3.41, which is 29th in the NHL. Power play sits at 16.4%, 27th. And the PK at 76.7, 21st in the NHL. Toffoli leads the Sharks with 23 goals. Eklund in assists with 32 assists. And Celebrini in points with 44. Thompson leads the Sabres with goals at 29. Peterka in assists with 30. And Thompson leads the team in points with 52. So, as you can see, both these teams' special teams are pretty even. Defensively, they both give up goals. The Sabres do have a big edge in offense. They're just able to score more goals. But as we know with the Sabres, it has been a disappointing season for them. They've actually played better as of late. I know coming out of the Four Nations, they have lost 3 in a row here, including an overtime, actually 2 in a row to the Montreal Canadiens. But before that, they had won 4 in a row, basically heading into, 4 out of 5 heading into the Four Nations break, and then won 2 straight games outside of it. So they had been playing well, but very much too little too late for this Sabres team, which has been one of the bigger disappointments and has a ton of questions on their future and kind of how they try to figure this thing out on year 57 of their rebuild. So let's continue to look at how these two teams rank. Sabres, big advantage in everything, especially at even strength goals for. This team scores a ton of goals at 5-on-5. They're the second best in the NHL when it comes to scoring goals at 5-on-5. The expected goals for is okay, but they just score more goals than expected. Do a pretty solid job at shot attempts, at least generating them. And power play goals, though, little disappointing. You would expect with that team in the way that they're able to generate offense. This power play just not what you would expect. The defensively, they do not give up a ton, or they do give up a ton of 5-on-5 goals. They're kind of middle of the pack when it comes to shot attempts. They're Corsi 4, but they give up a lot of quality opportunities. Is kind of the best way to look at it. Looking at kind of where they rank, they're 8th in their division when it comes to point percentage, 29th in the NHL when it comes to point percentage. They are dead last in the East right now, set to pit. If the lottery were held today, they'd have the 4th best odds at the first overall pick. Porter Martone in a Sabres uniform feels right, though, to be honest. Feels right. He'd be a lot of fun with them, especially with their smaller forwards. But anyway, that's a discussion for a different day. So Looking at how this team lines up, Paterka, Kulich, and Thompson on the first line, Greenway, Cousins, and Tuck, Benson, McLeod, and Quinn on the third, Malmsteen, Krebs, and Lafferty on the fourth line. You wonder how many of these, like this team could be very different a week from now because of all the guys who are circulating in trade rumors, right? I think I named three or four guys who are potentially could be traded just in their forward group. Bonebyram and Dahlin, first pair defense. Bryson and Powers, second pair, Gilbert and Clifton on the third line, and then Reimer and Luukkonen in net. Reimer played on Monday, so I assume it's going to be Luukkonen in net on Tuesday against the Sharks. For this game, what to watch for, right? Let's start with the San Jose Sharks, who were coming off an emotional win, right? First win since January 27th. You're snapping an 8-game losing streak here, and you got to get right back at it, right? 2-hour bus ride from Toronto to Buffalo. So emotions are, I think, early to start the game, trying to get back up for it. The Sabres team, right? They are also looking to, come off of an overtime loss. Which team I think can kind of get going early, as this is very much a sludge game with two teams coming off on the second night of a back-to-back. So I think who can kind of get things going early is going to be huge in this game. We expect Vitek Vanacek to start, of course, with Georgiev starting on Monday. So the Sabres do have a clear advantage in net with Lehkonen. So I want to see if the Sharks, who have gotten much better goaltending since the Four Nations with their tweaks in their defensive system, if they can keep it going against this high-powered offense. We know the Sabres can score a ton of goals at 5-on-5, so you need to make sure you start the game on time and don't let this Sabre team kind of get going. And, right, we have seen the emergence of two lines with the Sharks, whether it's Wenberg with Toffoli and Eklund, or if it's Celebrini. I assume we'll see Celebrini back with the 70s line, and Wenberg with Smith and Zetterlund. How do these lines continue to generate offense? Because the Sabres, they will give up quality chances, right? We saw in the game against the Maple Leafs, the Sharks were able to generate a ton of quality chances against the Maple Leafs, and it really didn't hit home until the third period. Can you keep generating these quality chances against a team that will give you quality chances and take advantage of it? So, the penalty kill, as I know, the Sabres penalty kill isn't that great. Your power play, isn't that great. But you can't play with fire like the Sharks did on Monday night. So I think whichever team can get a power play goal, and if the Sharks can continue to generate quality chances, I think they have a good chance to win this game. In fact, I think the Sharks make it 2 in a row to keep the good vibes going on this road trip. I actually think it's a 5-2 win for San Jose. Give me 2 Will Smith goals. The kid has been playing absolutely outstanding. He's been very close recently. I think he hits the net not once, but twice. Give me 2 Will Smith goals for the San Jose Sharks as they look to make it 2 straight wins. So, well, more on this game on your next episode of Locked On Sharks, wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well.